Good afternoon, my friends. Welcome back to the den where we're going to share another shave. Today we are using, as you know, I'm going through my closet here, another Victory Shaving Company Hell's Wench Frite Pro Libertate. I don't know what that means, but ferrite, I don't know, ferrite. I couldn't tell you what that means. I know that it smells like, says here on the back, cherry pipe tobacco and coffee. Not a fan of cherry pipe tobacco because it burns my tongue real bad, but some people like that real well. The fragrance is okay, but that's something that a lot of times people starting out smoking pipes will smoke that, but it smells real good though. I mean, the cherry fragrance is there, tobacco and a little bit of coffee. I can't really smell the coffee, it's just mostly the cherry pipe tobacco is very forward in this one. Our razor today, following up on the success of my last use of a Gillette Super Speed, a true classic. This is a 57 version of a Gillette. This is a very well worn 57 Super Speed, using the same ruby blade that we had before. Kind of feeding into the Korean War era of the art on this can. This particular specimen is just a little bit more aggressive than the what my last shave was. I think it's just unusually mild. I'm not complaining, it's just that particular specimen is that way. You're going to find that with these older consumer grade razors. A little bit of variability in the tolerances and how they were used over the years. And if you got a razor that's coming up on 70 years of age. My brother's was born in 1957. He was in April, so January, March, April. This would be one of his birthday razor for him. I think I gave him a little bit nicer one than this for his birthday a couple years ago. He's not necessarily, he doesn't use DEs much. He hasn't said anything anyway that he does, but I wanted him to have one because these are just wonderful razors to have. The soap, back to the soap, the fellow that made this made several, and he made a special version for the Shaving Cadre, most especially for a sub-unit within the Shaving Cadre called the CEC, Central Enablement Committee, where we like to spend other people's money or encourage them to waste money or something like that to pursue their own happiness. So let's do straight across. And this is such a nice little razor, and not, like I said, not quite as smooth as the last one, but the way the plating is on this one, I think this one may have been a little bit more over the road than that other one. Nevertheless, they're both very good shavers. This one is giving me a fine shave. I can tell you right now, after this first pass, I could probably just clean up and go anywhere. Be socially acceptable. Nobody's gonna say, Rich, you need to stand close to that razor. And I think after one pass, I'd be well within military regs, having stood up an inspection or two myself. I wouldn't have any problem with just the closest that I am at now. So when I do the third round, a third pass, I gotta imagine that you're gonna be able to ice skate on my chin. And that's where we're gonna go. Had a pretty nice call and an interesting program on Drinks and Daves on Tuesday. We asked some like conversation starters, and they asked some questions about just things in general that might get conversations started. One conversation question in particular piqued my interest. It was like, what decade of American history, I added American history, what decade would you feel like you fit best in? And there were a range of responses, anywhere from the 70s to the 1960s, 50s, and I myself think I would probably do well in the 40s. Now, I was born in 1960, so that's just 20 years before my own birth. But what kind of guides me to that? My father was kind of older when I was born. So I was essentially raised in a household that pretty much was already set in the 40s, so it wouldn't be much of a change to me. And then I would be able to be a grown man in the 60s and 70s and able to enjoy all the cool cars and stuff, and just the world in general that I would enjoy. So that kind of was my feeling on that. No problem there. So what do you guys think? What era do you think you would fit if you were to jump into a time machine and go back in time to live there? It's a interesting thing to think on. I do a little Thayer's lemon here. And aftershave wise, to kind of go along with the 50s and that this came out of, Korean era, I'll just use good old Old Spice. This is modern production Procter & Gamble Old Spice, but that's pretty good. And I don't know how it's going to mix with the black cherry or with the cherry tobacco, but I like Old Spice. And you know, it actually isn't mixing up too bad. Let's give ourselves a little dose of powder here. And we're going to call this good. Thank you so much for coming to visit. I'm Major Rich, and you will find me at theshavingcutter.com. If you're finding me on YouTube, yeah, you'll see the stuff there. You can share me or just come back and enjoy me again. And we will see you next time. Bye-bye.